Hi, I'm Alva. I'm 17 and I'm part of the Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy and I race in F1 Academy.
Welcome here, Alva, at Unlimiter. I'm very happy to have you here. So, for the few people that don't know your story very well, in 2020 your first cut, and in 2026 the Scuderia Ferrari Driver Academy, and at 16 you raced in the 2025 F1 Academy season. At this pace, what should we expect in the next couple of years, considering what you have achieved in just 6?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Well, yeah, it's been a quick journey. It feels like a long and a quick all in the same way. So much has happened. But in the next couple of years, I'll go all the way. That's the plan. I know a lot of young drivers say that, but I know I will. I just need to figure out how and the quickest way to get there. But you know, as you said, I started in F1 Academy last year. I was 16, and now I'm still one of the youngest one. And even if I first win my first win in F1 Academy in the end of the season, I'll still be younger than all the former winners. And when I then, get to the same age as they are now, I will be in F2 hopefully. So a thing I've learned is that this sport you need to adapt and learn very quickly. Mm-hmm. And I have found out that I'm good at that, and I guess that's why everything has happened so quickly. And right now it just looks like it's continuing that way. So that's.
Well, I guess speed is really your signature and not just on track, I would say. So, however, while prepping for this interview, I read on LinkedIn that you said, "My ultimate ambition is to make history as the first woman to compete and win in Formula One." So, my question for you is, why make history and not just win?
Well, my goal is obviously to win for me, but since no one has done that before, I would make history by doing it. So I think I win for myself, but it's also about representation and the representation that I was missing when I started. So I think obviously it's all about winning and it's not about gender. In F1, there's been no woman who has stood on a podium there or even raced the whole season. So I would automatically make history by being the first woman there, which I think is very special. Obviously, I hope there's a lot more girls who will follow, but it's all about representation for the girls to realize that they can do anything.
One thing that struck me is that motorsport is actually a very inclusive sport. Women and men can compete on the same race, same competition, same rules, same cars. There are still some stereotypes, and I wanted to ask you, what does it feel like to be breaking them?
It feels good. I drive and race for myself, but then I also drive to show the next generation that they can do it too. So it feels really good. And as you said, motorsport is one of the few sports where men and women can compete at the same level.
Yeah.
A lot of people still don't think that because there's no one in F1.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. But that's only because when you have the talent pool and people to pick from, there's a lot more boys to pick from.
And
less girls.
The problem is at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay. So we need to
it's not
get
within
more.
The sport.
Yeah. Okay. We need to get them to start earlier because then we have more to pick from in the end.
Well, I'm sure that.
Yeah.
Your story is really inspiring for other girls and women out there. So, but how many, I'm just curious because I think that I watched a video of you recently talking about numbers. So how many girls are in motorsport today?
Yeah, it is not that many because in Formula racing, of professional Formula racing drivers, we say it's less than 5% that are female. There's none in F1, none in F2, and none in F3. So
but it's not because of a lack of interest, right?
It is not because of lack of interest, because 40% of F1's global audience is female. So there's a lot of girls who are interested in racing. And no, we're not just watching it for the drivers. a lot of boys say that, but no. A lot of girls are really interested about the strategy, about the engines, about all the fun stuff, and especially about the cars and fighting on track. A lot of girls, they discover it too late. When they start having phones and social media, they see it, but they don't really have that interest from a young age.
So people say that you have to start racing at 6 to make it. But you started at 11 during lockdown in a sport that's still largely male-dominated. So does this prove that those assumptions don't really matter and that you should just always chase your dreams, no matter what?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I did get told that I started too late, since I raced against boys and girls who were had a lot more experience than I had at that time, even though we were the same age that raced for 5 years and I was only in the beginning. But I don't think it matters. As long as you work super hard, and something that I learned is I need to catch up to the people I'm competing against because they have more experience. So I need to work extra hard to gain all that time I don't have to be at that same level. But I don't think it matters because right now I'm racing against people that are over 20 and I do...
And you're only 17.
And I do faster or just the same lap times as them. So I think it's really about if you love something and you have a passion for it, it's just about going for it. And that's, I have two passions. One is to win and go fast, and the other one is to try and make a difference. So when I started, there was no girls, but I want to try and see if we can change that because it's all about getting more girls into the sport from a young age.
Yeah. So about that, what do you think we would need to see more Albas on the pole position or on the grid?
Well, what we need is getting more girls to start from a young age. They need to discover it by themselves when they get social media, when they're like 13, 14, then they start seeing, oh, I really like Formula One, or I love engines, I love the sound, I love the race cars. But then for a lot of girls, it's too late because then they have to figure a way to get into the sport and it takes some time. So it's really about showing girls from a young age that they can do it. And it doesn't matter if they're a boy or girl, they can do racing, they can be anything they want. And I think that's not only in racing, that's in general. So I also try to start something. It's called GIRL, stands for Girls International Racing Lab. And it's exactly about this, about getting girls to try racing. It's about having a way into the sport. When they've seen it on social media, they sign up and then they get to the racetrack and they try go-karting or sim racing or something.
And you also wrote a book for these girls, right? For girls from 9 to
14.
14?
So the book is about my story, but also it has a lot of advice for girls about racing, but also about life in general, going for your dreams. Don't really care about other people's thoughts and stuff.
And what do you teach these girls that no one ever taught you before?
Yeah, well, I didn't have any real representation to look up to. There was no women in Formula One, none in F2 and none in F3. So when I started, I had some really good people around me, former racing driver Jan Magnussen, who showed me the world of racing. But a lot of people don't have that, and therefore they feel very lonely. A lot of girls can feel super lonely when they are on the racetrack. I was the only girl a lot of the races I did. But I had a good family. I had my sister with me as well. But some people don't have that. So I try to create a place where girls can bring their friends, can be together around racing, and then build confidence in knowing that they can do whatever they want. If they want to be a mechanic, they can do that. If they want to be a driver, they can be that.
So you were saying that for people like you, for girls like you, when they start, they face the fact that there's not really a role model. So do you think that in a way this thing made it harder for you, or that in a way made you stronger?
I think a bit of both. Obviously, it was a bit harder being the only girl on track. I was always good at being with the boys and just having fun with them. But at one point, it's always nice to have someone like you. And I came from handball, which is a big team sport, and we were like 40 girls on the court, having fun. And then I got into racing, and there was no one. And I kind of missed that girlhood. And that's also what I wanted to create with Girl, getting them to have fun around racing together.
But also share the load, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. It definitely was a bit more tough having to face some of these things alone. But in a way, it also made me a lot stronger, I think, more tough and always having to fight against the boys and never back down just because they think they're faster than you. I showed a lot of them that I am way faster.
And so this made me think, so basically you started at 11, as we were saying, and there was no childhood obsession, which is pretty common in cases like yours. So I wonder, how do you get to something so extraordinary with that beautiful sense of normality that really shines through in your story?
I mean, I've always loved sports in general. I played handball for a long time. I did a bit of dancing. I wasn't very good, but I did sailing. I did a lot of sports. I've always been super competitive in everything I do. Anyone who knows me, they say I'm super competitive. Yeah, so really competitive. And then I tried racing. I tried go-karting during Corona lockdown. I got offered of one of my friends who drove karting. He was like, do you want to come and try and just have fun? And then me and my sister, we both went, and I just completely fell in love with it. And it was just the fun and the adrenaline and everything in racing that was just, I fell in love with. And I still have that love, the same love from when I started, and that's what drives me really. Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good thing to keep you motivated.
I think really just my love for racing, and it was never anyone else. Some drivers, they have a parent who is driven or something like this, and then they get into sport like that. But for me, I just fell in love with it, and that's what really drives me. It's my love for the sport, and I'm the one pushing me the hardest. There's no one else, like none of my parents are like pushing me.
They were not in the motorsport. Or
no.
I just saw a picture of you fist bumping your dad while you're in the car. I don't know if it's before or after the race, but it was really nice to see. So I wonder, whether your family, I presume that your family is very supportive.
They're super supportive, both of my parents. When I started, both me and my sister were driving in the beginning, and now my sister don't drive anymore. But in the beginning, we were both driving, and my mom was her mechanic, also sometimes mine, and my dad was my mechanic. And we always had this love for racing, since it was like a way of being together. As I said, it's really not a one-woman sport. It's a team sport, because you do all the stuff together. You work on the car, or like the go-kart at that time, and you have fun together. And yeah, that's my parents are just super supportive and goes with me to the races, and I really love having them. And having their support, and it's never them pressuring me to perform.
Oh wow!
All the pressure is from myself.
From you, okay. Are you also a regular student besides being a driver? And just if you would like to walk us through your daily routine.
Well, my daily routine is very different from day to day. Obviously. Traveling the world, but being with Ferrari and being a professional driver requires a lot of work, a lot of hard work in the gym, in the sim, prepping for the next race, for the next test. And no, right now I don't go to school. I finished school last year.
Okay.
I did all my exams at the same time as Miami and Montreal last year. So it was very busy time.
No pressure at all.
But no. Also with school, it was a bit the same. For me, school and racing was a bit the same. I wanted to get good grades, but it was always me pushing to do better.
Your competitive side.
Yeah.
Okay. And how do you actually handle all this pressure? From the outside, on track, How do you prepare yourself mentally to stay focused? Do you have a routine before, during the race?
I do have some routines. I switch it up a bit. I'm not so superstitious about having the same routine every time. Just I feel like you don't always need to do the exact same thing. When there's a lot of pressure, obviously we're driving sometimes doing the F1 weekends, so a lot of pressure, a lot of eyes on me and the other drivers as well. So for me, it's super important to just stay focused and stay in the bubble. How do you do that? Just before, an hour before the race, I tend to stop talking and doing interviews. I stay with my team. I go through what we need to do, go through the data, go through video and all this stuff. And then I really enjoy when there's good vibes around me. So I have a really good team, and so I sometimes also like to go to the fans just before jumping in the car because it brings good energy, and that's what I love driving on. When you're positive in the car, I can also drive very fast when I'm angry, but most of the times when I'm happy, I drive fast. So for me. I always try and stay in the moment and just be happy and focus on what I need to do, which is driving. I mean, it's driving fast.
Driving super fast. Yeah. It's also communicating with the team over the radio. Yeah. It's also thinking about the next move, maybe under the rain. No pressure. Okay.
No pressure.
Okay. And another thing that I've learned so many things, is that in F1 Academy, you have to do two completely different things. Because in the weekend, you have
two races.
Races. The first one is the reverse grid, and where you fight your way up, and then there's the race 2 where you have to handle the pressure at the front. And what you think is more in line with your strengths?
I think both of them. I have strength in different areas, but I think I've always loved overtaking, defending, that side of racing. That's what I really fell in love with. Back when I started in go-kart was fighting on track. So I really love the reverse grid when you're fighting through the field and having some battles. You have to be smart. You can't make a stupid move. You have to reconsider and think one step ahead. So I love that part, but then I always love the race starts where you just have to get away from the pack, and so it's different things, and you have to be good at all of them. That's how you're, a complete driver. So you have to be good at a bit of everything.
Okay, a bit of everything. So we were saying that at 16 you started racing in the F1 Academy, which is kind of insane. I mean, I didn't even have a license at 16. By the way, I'm genuinely curious. Did you have it back then, a driver's license? Do you have it now?
I don't have it. Okay. I didn't have it back then, and I don't have it now.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually starting to take it. I have been so busy. You can take it at 17 in Denmark.
Okay.
So I can't take it now. I've been so busy that I haven't had time.
Examiners are scared of you?
Maybe. I mean, it's going to be fun, and hopefully I'll stay under the speed limit.
Okay. Okay. So basically, I'd like to close every episode with a quick game. So I'll start a sentence, and you'll just have to complete it. You ready?
Yeah.
It's going to be mind-blowing.
Okay.
Not expected at all. So my sentence is, women can drive
very fast.
Thank you, Alba. It was
Thank you so much.
Pleasure having you here.
It was so nice to meet you.
Thank you.